is the Rebel Call channel. Welcome to today's show. Will Ferell is back with a new documentary called Will and Harper, and it's being featured on Netflix. It's being promoted pretty much on every single platform there is out there, including YouTube, because they want everybody to go and see Will and Harper, and it's perfect to always use people like Will Ferell, who are looked at as beloved, and Will Ferrell's not a Satanist. Will Ferell is just a comedian. He's somebody that makes people laugh. But in fact, as I've exposed over the years, Will Ferell is potentially the most satanic person in Hollywood, which I've shown throughout countless videos. But really what this is about is grooming an audience. And the more they put propaganda out there like this, the more people become confused, because what Hollywood is nothing more than a mind control factory. Every single film that comes out is some form of hypnotism that they're trying to put on the audience. Just the idea and the notion that we're at this point in 2024 where we look at Hollywood and we might say, well, that stuff from Hollywood's satanic. Why can't they go back to doing things that way? Hollywood has always been satanic, and Hollywood has always been used as a form of mind control. That's how we got from point A to point Z, through mind control, grooming techniques, and hypnotism used in film. And while you'll hear people talk about the golden days of Hollywood, propaganda was used then just as much as it is now. Just most people out there refuse to see it because there's still things that they're attached to from their childhood around Hollywood, around movies they grew up watching, not realizing that there were satanic agendas behind those. From movies like Star Wars to all of the Disney films that were talking about magic shoes and magic slippers and magic apples and magic mirrors, you name it. It's always been there, and it's just a matter of people realizing that our parents, our grandparents, and our great-grandparents are responsible for bringing this demonic garbage into our lives. And now it's everywhere, right? Hollywood has become the influence factory that has groomed our society into what it is today. So, back to Will Ferell. Will Ferell cries as Will and Harper director hails actor's love for trans friend in new Netflix film. So, this here that you see is Harper Steele and Will Ferell. Harper Steele, of course, was once Andrew Steele from Saturday Night Live. He was a head writer on Saturday Night Live, or one of the head writers, of course, was just a regular guy, right? Or so we're told. Of course, married to a female. Now, all of a sudden, he's decided that he wants to transition and be who he's always been. Because this is something, of course, we're all supposed to believe. People are born in the wrong bodies. People have been hiding who they really are. Or people could just realize that this is a form of hypnotism. And this is why so many more people have, quote-unquote, come out of the closet or transition because they're under a form of hypnotism. Let me show you the highlights from this trailer for Will and Harper, or should I call them what they really are, lowlights.
Hi there, I'm Will Ferell. A long time ago, I met a guy who was hired as a writer the same week I was hired, and eventually became the head writer of SNL. Over the years, he became one of my closest friends. And one day, I got this email, something I need you to know. I'll be transitioning to live as a woman. I'm not Andrew Steele anymore. It's just, whoa. Harper, would you want to do a road trip as this new version of yourself?
Were you a little worried about how to talk to me when I came out to you?
Yeah, probably a little nervous.
I invite any friend of mine to ask me these questions. I am not afraid to talk about them.
Do you think you're a worse driver as a female driver?
But I am.
Woo! Yeah. Oh, this is my friend Harper. How you doing?
Nice to meet you, bro.
Hey, not a bro though. The she, but that's okay.
Sorry. This is probably around the age where I started to feel just kind of weird.
Yeah.
I used to come out to these kind of places before, and then I transitioned and I got a little afraid. Oh yeah, come out. I'm not really afraid of these people. I'm afraid of hating myself. All I want to do is live.
Oh, Dunkin' Donuts.
So that's the film Will and Harper, and if you don't see an agenda there, then you are living in a different reality. a reality where you think that all of a sudden basic science is no longer real, that people are born in opposite bodies, that people should castrate their own children. You pretty much live in a never-ending paddy wagon, so to speak. So Will Ferrell, if you're not familiar, Will Ferrell, of course, has always shown his allegiance to his Freemasonic secret societies because Will Ferrell is in them. And some of my best, deepest exposures will go back to Will Ferrell and that pizza place.
Hello, Moto.
In Washington, D.C., when I was exposing all of these demonic cults, which, of course, they won't let you talk about anymore. And I'll start with this with Will Ferrell because you could see clearly the picture that they chose to use on YouTube for the trailer. You could see Harper over there wearing what looks like black and white checkerboards all over Harper's outfit, right? Telling you who's producing this production. Because, of course, remember, the secret societies, all of the stuff that they teach also goes back to a certain group, a quote-unquote religious group of people who are chosen, who wear red bracelets, who also teach the same exact things. And inside of their teachings, you'll actually find about all of these genders, and where the core of this comes from is actually this group of people that Christians think are their friend and that they're supposed to protect, but are actually of the synagogue of Satan. So Freemasonry runs hand in hand with them, and no surprise, of course, that we see the black and white checker board in the actual photo for the trailer and throughout the actual film, I'm sure, because Will Ferrell doesn't hide his affiliation to secret societies. I mean, when they can get away with this stuff, they will, right? Like when Will Ferrell went to a Los Angeles Kings game. He decided to dress his face up in black and white checkerboards, right? Because he's a Kings fan, of course. Now, the Kings logo might be silver, white, and black. Their logo itself does not feature a black and white checkerboard, but Will Ferrell is going to show up there doing this because he knows the majority of people are too dumb to actually see what's going on in front of them, and how Will Ferrell is a member of these secret societies just like everybody else in Hollywood, right? And you may remember I did a clip on this before where Will Ferrell talks about being a member of a certain secret society at USC University, for anybody who's actually wondered.
At USC, you are a member of the Delta Tau Delta fraternity.
Yes.
But you might say, well, what does that matter? Well, here's the logo for that secret society, fraternity, that Will is a part of. You see that all-seeing eye right at the top? Delta Tau Delta, right? You like how it has an eyeball right above? Kind of looks just like the symbols we see for Freemasonry, doesn't it? With that one-eye symbolism. What are they, all fans of the dollar bill at Delta Tau Delta? Because fraternities are breeding grounds and recruiting grounds for secret societies. Fraternities actually are how these people are able to get away with what they've gotten away with. Because Freemasons and secret societies just tell everybody out there they're like a frat. And then you think of all the programming you've been put through with movies like Animal House and Old School, which Will Ferrell is in, and you see what fraternities are, right? And you say, oh, well, all they do is keg stands and pick up chicks and act like a bunch of drunks for 4 years at college. And that whole mindset is exactly how Freemasons have been protected in our society. Because when somebody asks what they are and what they're all about, they make it sound like they're just a fraternity, right? Well, does Delta Tau Delta look like just a fraternity? Well, there are fraternities that might just have people who do keg stands around the clock, but a lot of schools have very high important secret societies, specifically the Ivy League schools like Lock and Key, Skull and Bones, and even places like USC, which isn't an Ivy League school, but it's a very prominent, known school, right? The University of Southern California, where Will Ferrell was a member of Delta Tau Delta, but of course that eyeball symbolism is all coincidental, right? Just like when he was in the movie Austin Powers and he was wearing this hat on his head. This is the Shriner's hat. Of course, there's no correlation between the two, right? And of course, there's no correlation between Will Ferrell being on magazine covers, throwing up the devil horns whenever he can. Remember the actual ritual that I showed many years ago back when I first started on YouTube, even though I'm a new YouTuber, where Will Ferrell performed literally a 20-minute satanic ritual that nobody in the audience knew what was even going on during this ritual, and nobody in the audience was laughing, even though it was on a comedy channel, right? Because they put these things on Comedy Central, and Will Ferrell always is doing things that are revolving around the occult, pretending to be funny, and people laugh, but they don't know what they're laughing at, because that's a form of spellcasting, right? So Will Ferrell was doing this massive ritual. You can see the guy covered in fake blood, probably real, even brown stuff, which I can't say on here, but I'm sure you can all figure out what that is. Anybody remember in Zoolander? Do you remember in Zoolander, Will Ferrell performing a satanic ritual in Zoolander? Of course, that's coincidental too, right?
Jacobs, tell me your figure. We are all here for the sacrifice.
Time. God created Adam and Eve and Steve.
Without has delivered us the chosen lion.
Behold, God expunged Steve from the garden only to redeem us with eternal youth, bathed in the blood of the fat little chosen one.
Yeah, it's all coincidental, especially when Will Ferrell's always portraying Jesus and getting away with it, right? Will Ferrell portrays Jesus all the time, even still today, right? We've seen him do it on SNL and also portray Satan, but we've seen him go on talk shows dressed up as Jesus and then mock our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ because he's a comedian. He's allowed to do that, right? He's allowed to get away with stuff like that. And at the same time, of course, Will Ferrell attends things like the 2011 Mocha
Hello, Moto.
Gala. You ever hear of that? The Mocha Gala? Well, you should hear about it because it was an entire ritual, an entire event that was for this person called Marina Abramovich. And you may remember the theme of the event, which was cannibalism. And Will was there, right? And so was Gwen Stefani and a lot of these celebrities because they're allowed to do that, right? Because they're celebrities. They're kooky. We're supposed to believe Satanists all conspiring together against society, right? If you think back to all the stuff we've heard about witch trials and so on and so forth in the past, well, what do you think people were always going after these people are for? Because they were conspiring. They were conspiring against Christians. They were conspiring against regular people, right? Now, people can't see that they're conspiring in Hollywood. Well, they can, but they think that this is some type of, well, it's just liberals in Hollywood. Why are they all liberals? Right? And then they go, well, what about the old days, old Hollywood, right? The old stuff we like, the old movies and all that stuff. And they think that that wasn't propaganda too, which shows you how technology has influenced where we've gotten to at this point as a society. We've been groomed. We've been spellcasted upon. Now it's 2024, and we have movies where Will Ferrell's crying. They're telling somebody comes up and tries to shake this guy's hand who used to be, he was a man, was born a man, Andrew Steele. Someone goes up and says, hey, man, don't call him man. How dare you? Grooming behavior. That's what Hollywood does. And for anybody that doesn't believe that this stuff is all satanic, let me just show you this event, okay? I'm not going to show you all the stuff of Will Ferrell that I have. You can find that on the website. It's all archived over there. But for anybody who's wondering what this gala was that they all attended, all, of course, wearing these, doctor-like uniforms. Well, this was for Marina Abramovich, who's most known for being a witch. And, you can just take a look at some of the stuff going on at that event.
He walks with me.
looks like a great time, right? Great time for a bunch of Satanists who people out there don't realize that they're influenced by. Okay, so this is where we are now, where Hollywood is continuing to use this stuff as mind control. Everybody out there says it's like agendas. They go, well, the stuff they're doing in Hollywood, oh, they're pushing the trans movement in Hollywood and all that. This is hypnotism. That's what this is. They've been grooming behaviors through Hollywood since the 1940s. That's how long they've been grooming behavior to get us to the point we're at now. Shut it all off. Shut it off and hold the people who are responsible for it accountable for it before it's too late. At the very least, continue to remove yourselves from being influenced by this type of stuff. Continue to remove yourselves from technology, because this is how we've gotten here. Mind control. Mass amounts of mind control. It didn't just start over the last 8 years because concurrent conservatives hate Democrats so much. It's been going on since the 1940s, and it continues to go on, and people who believe in the news are continuing to fall for the hypnosis. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families as always.